So we are back for episode 21, the TB Super Bowl. 7 rings.
7 rings.
Dan and Ninko Show, 7 rings. Can you believe it? You've been a Tom hater.
I've not been a Tom hater.
You've been a Tampa hater.
Tampa hater.
Tampa hater.
Not
Tom hater. Basically this whole season. And you know what? I think TB kind of had a massive FU to all the haters out there that said that he was close to the edge, close to the cliff, about to fall over the edge and not be able to throw.
That's been going on for years, though. That's been like a decade at this point.
Who's that? Max Kellerman? Yeah.
Like
well, he had to. How about this? I made the Super Bowl too. Did you see after the Super Bowl, the interviews, Bruce Arians brought my name up?
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. About what?
Yeah. Well, because like when they were 7 and 5,
he looks like he's drunk.
No. When they were 7 and 5, I said because it was on Get Up, ESPN Get Up. They were asking me, it was around Christmas maybe or a gift. It was something like that. What would you gift? And I said I would gift
a new coach.
I would gift Tom Brady a new head coach because Bruce Arians is throwing him under the bus, saying he can't read coverages and he's missing open receivers.
I didn't see that.
So after the game, they asked him about dealing with outside stuff, and he goes, "Yeah, I'd come in on Mondays and I'd say, Tom, how about that Ninkovich guy? He's trying to get me fired."
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So what was going through your mind when that happened?
I said,
Did you text Tom right away? Tom.
No, I said, well,
we're still boys.
I said, well, guess what? If all the things said this season that stuck with him, it must have kicked him right in the ass or hit deep because for you
had to have because people have been bashing him the whole season.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you've called him a drunk.
I didn't say that. I said he looks like he probably has a few drinks, but hold on, let's see. Look at it. You hear that? Look at this. Is the post game. Yeah, I made it.
You're in their heads.
I mean, it must have.
You paying rent?
It must have like hit a chord and been like a little bit of like a. And
it actually did change around then too.
And at that point,
he stopped throwing him on the bus.
Yes, they had the bye week.
Yeah, and then it kind of went
25% less pressure.
So you're getting a ring?
That's me.
Are you getting a ring?
I did that.
You're gonna get a ring?
I don't think so.
They give out rings to like other people.
Maybe you'll give it to me for being an a-hole.
How exciting would you be?
I wouldn't be excited.
Did you get a bonus from ESPN for that?
I didn't earn it. No. I brought a few. So this is a 4-pack of beer. It was in my fridge. I'm like, I'm just gonna throw together some beer. You were supposed
to can this yourself?
No more of this, by the way.
Why?
That's deadly gasoline. Okay, Focal Banger, The Alchemist, which is very good.
Yep.
This is
Treehouse.
Julius from Treehouse, which is good.
Hayes from
and
Treehouse.
It's not named after Julian. Hayes, which is good because it's a double IPA, and anything that's 8% alcohol is good. And then just my favorite, which is Castle Island. How would you say that? Fiver or Fiver? Fiver. That's an India Pale Ale. Which one do you want to go for? We should open these up early because why not? Super Bowl celebration, even though we didn't win.
I'm going to go with, give me one of the tree houses.
Do you want a tree house? Do you want the Julius or the Hayes?
I'll let you pick.
Oh, come on. Hold on. I don't know what this is. I really don't know.
Did you bring the, you gave me a Castle Island. I'll take the Castle Island.
All right, that's it. I got plenty of those.
So you bring the glasses for the Jamesons?
No, those are, no.
You're not going to do that again?
Nope, we're done with that. I don't need people to make fun of me in my...
Do people make fun of you?
I look like a girly boy. I shouldn't say that.
Do people make fun of you?
Oh, wow. That's good stuff right there.
Well, you've not had that before?
No, I've had that, but I haven't had it in a while.
Fiver's good.
It is good. That's like my favorite local. I could just go get it. Castle Island right there.
Yep.
Which we need to do. This was supposed to be Adventureland, the Dan and Ninko show, but we have to do it. And
we've had 2 adventures.
We've had 2 adventures, but guess what? The football season is over. So the monotony of talking about football and taking our stupid picks, which I think I won the picks.
I don't think so.
But
We have to
anyway,
look at that, though.
we are going to have to set out on a few things. One being a brew house, which
Yep.
we can probably do that. And the COVID thing kind of screwed us up this year. It was hard to do certain things. So we're closer to the end of this thing. So that would possibly bring about easier adventures.
Yeah.
Easier, which I would like to do. The zoo, which we've said a million times, which we can do that. A brew place, wherever that would be. We'll make like the bearded brew. And we'll just take a
That'd be
piece of
awesome
our beard.
if we can actually make our own brew.
That would be really cool.
That'd be really good. So in case there's anybody watching the show that has a brewery here,
if you were going to make like
a
a beard brew, like a beard brew IPA, what would it taste like?
it'd have to be like a dark,
pine, like a pine,
like a dark,
like
thing.
a tree, like maybe pine needles,
maybe like an amber ale, maybe a little nutty.
Yours would be a red ale.
Yeah.
So when last time I got my hair cut, this is funny. The guy, Mike, my guy, great guy, Gus and Donna's, he like trimmed me up, he cut me up nice, smooth, but like right here, it was like kind of cut a little short. So when I had
like a zip.
No, just like when the light was on me when I was on television, you could see like it looked like a little light was pushing through right here. So it looked like I had like a little bald spot right there. I was like, I don't like that. So my buddy texted me, he's like, "What, you getting thin?" I said, "No, I'm not getting thin. It was just the way it's cut." So I ran upstairs and I put some black like eyeshadow stuff right here.
Did you really?
Yeah. And I went back down and I was getting texts like, "Just for men, Ninkovich is just for men," like because it was like black, but it looked better. I felt like it looked better.
Did you do the whole thing?
No, there's this okay. Let me put it out there. I'm going to put it out there. I'll let everyone know. There's this stuff called fiber. Okay, you can get it at Walgreens, Walmart, and for a guy like myself, I got a little thin spot in the back. It's a little thin spot. So what you do is you take the fiber, you just give it a little, boop, 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 and it's like a little sprinkle of darker. I guess you could call it dark powder. And don't look at me like that.
So it like stays on?
No, yeah, it makes your hair just appear thicker. That's all. So
it's like shoe polish?
No, shoe polish is like a liquid. This is literally like baby powder, but it's just dark, and it just makes your hair look thicker.
So you always put it on?
Not always.
If you're on ESPN,
yeah, I'll put it on, and you spray your, for example, who's the what's that guy's name?
Chris Berman.
Chris Berman, like he's in there the whole thing.
No, he's got like nothing there.
I know, but he does it on top of the nothing.
Is that where you got it from?
And it brings it back a little bit.
Did you get it from there?
I mean, the pros do it. Why not? So if you're
so how long does it take you to get ready to go on to ESPN?
It's quick. 5 minutes. Total? 5 minutes. Just do my hair.
Is that 5 minutes or is that 5 Ninko minutes? Which is like...
No. Oh, well, the Ninko minutes are affected by but I'm not going to get into it because I have other factors that affect my timeliness. And I'm always on time except for when there's other factors that really involve... I won't get into it. Anyway, let's have another beer.
So
let's just put it this way. Target has to do with a lot of my time inconveniences. Target, which is a great place.
Now?
What's that?
Don't they like deliver now?
Oh, that's not getting out of the house. Come on now.
No.
Put the mask on. You got to get out of the house. You got to go spend $300 at Target every week, whatever.
That's not going to be good for you. You might want to edit that one out.
I'm spending it.
You still might want to edit that out.
Come on, I'm kidding. No, it's fine.
But back to the Arians thing. So, like, were you shocked like when you first ordered it?
I was snow blowing at that point.
Yeah, so was I.
I was outside snow blowing my
left.
driveway. And then when I came inside, I had a text message from my mom. She's like, "Bruce Arians said your name." And I was like, I wonder why. And then I listened to it. He could have said a lot worse. He could have been like, Ninkovich, that idiot, thought I should have been fired.
I can't believe that's what stuck with him. I mean, at that time, he was getting bashed by every human being, basically.
Well, maybe it's because I was Tom's ex-teammate, and they asked Tom about it after they lost that next week.
Oh,
they asked Tom in an actual
I forgot they did that,
interview. Like, one of your ex-teammates said
did Tom
they
ever
should
text you
fire. No, he don't care. Tom doesn't care. Tom's like, I'm just going to win.
Did the gift stop coming then?
No, I still got it.
You still
got the gifts. I'm getting a 7 shirt. It's on its way.
Oh, really?
7 rings.
You have to pay for it?
Nope. Freebie.
Oh, freebie 7 rings?
$19.99.
That's the...
$19.99. And I'm happy Brody's not here right now. He is becoming a terror. He needs to go to Protection Dogs Plus.
So when are you going to send him?
Now. He's 5 months. He needs to go right now.
Just fudge the birth
He's
certificate.
actually 100% potty trained, though, which is good.
Yeah.
So he's not – the only thing that I don't understand – oh, no, I do understand. He has 6 fangs right now. He has his baby teeth there, and his fangs are right behind him, and the baby teeth aren't loose at all. And he's chewing everything because I'm sure his teeth hurt. His molars are massive. Oh, it looks like it hurts. He's a good boy, though, sometimes.
Sometimes.
When he's sleeping. After 10 o'clock, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He lays
You're
down.
good with that then?
He lays down.
How much you freak out, though?
Sleeps.
You must freak out a ton.
I freak out a little bit. I freak out when I have, like, multiple directions of, like, things coming at me. Like, the 1-year-old's in the toilet, and then I'm like, oh, and then I go to get the toilet, and then, like, the puppy's chewing paper towels. I'm like, dang it. And then I turn around, and I'm picking up the paper towels, and then I hear the toilet flush, and I look back, and there's a car in there, and then it's just – but that's – look, I'm not complaining because it's a fun point in life right now. Yeah. Having a 1-year-old and a puppy was a great idea. It's a great idea.
Recommend to everybody.
Should have listened to my wife on that one.
I told you to get a trained dog. Would have been easy.
Happily Miserable, the JE11 hoodie?
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't get it for free, though.
You paid for it?
Yeah.
Went right to the JE11 account.
It kind of sums up New England.
Happily Miserable.
Yeah, 100%.
It's
like New England right now. That right after Brady won the Super Bowl, right? It all started. Fire Belichick, the worst.
Belichick.
I know they're not, but like that's just what it was because everybody's like, well, look, Brady won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, and he would have done it in New England. Newsflash: there's no way he won the Super Bowl this year in New England. No possibility.
No, there's no way.
It's not even a remote possibility.
No.
And they were never going to be able to pay him. Like everybody's like, well, they should have just paid him the 2-year $50. They couldn't. They didn't have the money.
They didn't have the cap.
Yeah, they could this year, but then
yeah,
it's like I don't know if you saw it now. Like Russell Wilson's out now, kind of.
Well, they want to be the NBA. They're the NFL NBA. They want to go to a team and all come together and It's stupid.
But the thing I don't understand though is that like. It's like I want to go to another team that's going to put more people around me because everybody's like, well, look what Brady did. Well, Brady went as a free agent to a team that was basically built, missing a quarterback. If somebody goes to trade for Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, you're going to give up 3 or 4 first-round picks. What does that do for the future of that team? You're screwed.
Kills you.
Yeah, I mean, unless you just hit every second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth round pick. Like if you hit on those, I guess you're okay. Yep. But look at the Chiefs now. The Chiefs they paid all the superstars, right? And then they realized, oh shit, we don't have an offensive line.
That's bad. That is not good. That is not good. Well, they had an offensive line, but they lost their tackles, which was a huge hit to them this season.
But you still need to have somebody behind that, though. They have the guys they had behind it.
Yeah,
they wouldn't back up on any
suck. Your backup, like if I was JPP or Shaq Barrett and I'm like, I'm going against a backup tackle, backup tackles suck. Period.
Yeah. But
I'm 37. I would be confident going against a backup tackle.
There wasn't
right now.
They didn't have anybody on their offensive line, tackle, guard, or center.
Some of that was on Patrick Mahomes as well because he was taking the snap and just bailing out of the back of the pocket. He wasn't even hitting his back foot. So when you do that, it shortens the edge. It makes it worse for everybody. The tackle makes it harder on him because the A to B, the end guy is just going straight at the quarterback. So Mahomes lost his confidence in the offensive line. Granted, they didn't play great, but at the end there was times where he could have stepped up or just stopped and extended the play that way instead of just running the back out of the end. He ran out of the back of the pocket, running around, scrambling, getting killed a few times.
His receivers dropping tons of balls.
Yeah, so. They didn't come to play. I mean, they didn't come to play.
They didn't look like nobody looked like
they didn't come to play. I mean, and
Tampa Bay came to play.
I have to listen to stupid people on the radio say like the Andy Reid's son wouldn't affect him. I'm like, if your son is arrested or not arrested, he wasn't arrested. If your son injures,
be, though, isn't he?
Yeah, if your son injures somebody and he's had a couple drinks, that's not good.
Yeah,
and they're kids that were injured.
Yeah, and it's your kid.
And it's your kid that did it.
Yeah.
So it's got to affect you a certain way. I'm sure he was distracted. You're not like thinking about game planning when you hear that your son was just in an accident in a hospital and hurt a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old. So that whole concept, or people saying like, oh, that shouldn't affect him. Like, okay, like whatever. You sound like idiots.
Yeah. No, I mean, that without a doubt that was going to affect him. But
you're not thinking about the game plan. You're thinking about, is my son going to prison? You know?
Yeah. So as a defensive player, were you a little upset with kind of how all the media attention was on Brady and like nobody was really saying much about the defensive performance? Was probably one of the better defensive performances in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they played great. They played great. No touchdowns.
Even without the tackles in there, I mean, it's still trying to contain Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey, Hardeman.
That's the crazy thing about defense. Your pass rush can make your offense. Your pass rush can make your DBs look incredible.
Yeah,
like the rush can really make that whole defensive performance out to what it really was. Or on the flip side of that, if your rush isn't great, your DB's got to cover 4 to 5 seconds. Impossible. So
you can only cover
it was like a perfect storm. Kansas City's offensive line being poo-poo, and then them taking advantage of that, getting after the quarterback, stopping the run, all those things kind of work together. So I think the Kansas City's punter shanked 2 punts, terrible.
One was like a
20-something yards, set him up for a touchdown. I mean, come on.
He dropped the punt because it was a penalty. Dropped the punt before that and still punted that 50 yards.
Yeah.
And the next one
was worse.
It was 27 yards.
Cut your hair. Maybe be better.
Rookie punter.
Suck.
He hadn't punted all season. What do you want from him?
You suck.
That was like his second punt in the playoffs. Was the first one in the Super Bowl.
Greatest. I mean, we'll never see a quarterback play until they're 43 and win a Super Bowl.
No.
It's just not going to happen. And it was all a perfect storm.
I mean, you'll see quarterbacks play 43, 44. But
so Grunk's a free agent? You think the Pats will pay him, bring him back?
He ain't going to go. He is tied. He's more tied to the hip of Tom Brady than you are.
So do you think that he'll take a $5 million deal one year?
100%.
Just 1 year?
Yeah.
Now, would you pay Gronk big tight end money? Or does he look like – does Gronk look like a 12 to 15 million a year player?
No, not anymore.
So what would you pay him? I'd give him I think I'd give him 2 years, 18.
Yeah, something like that. Or 2 years, 16. Or even a year, 8. Something like that. He'll take.
I don't know how long he wants to play though.
He'll take a 1 year, $5 million deal. Is what's going to happen.
I don't know how long.
They don't have any money. I don't think they have much money.
No, they don't.
I think that they've got to restructure. They have to try to restructure Mike Evans.
Shaq
They're going to lose
Barrett will be gone.
Barrett's gone. Who's the other linebacker that's gone? The one that's been there for a while. Levante David.
David, yeah.
He's gone.
He'll be gone.
They're going to have a tough time trying to put that back together. Luckily, they're in a division, I think, that now with Breeze gone and all that.
Is Breeze gone though? He took a pay cut.
But that was so they could structure things out the right way. For now.
Oh,
I think he's still retiring.
Seems odd to take a pay cut for a year that you won't be there.
I think it was something the way that the cap space was, because if you retired right then and there, then something hit the cap immediately or something like that. Was I was reading on it, but I think if we did it this way, it moved it out to next year. It's what they're able to do, so they can get somebody. I guess it's gonna be the Taysom Hill show there, though, huh?
I mean, I think the dude's talented. He's got a long way to go as far as just being a complete quarterback. But
I think Jameis will be the starter.
No, Jameson's not.
Could be on the Patriots.
EWs?
How mad would you be at that?
Ugh.
Who would be worse if they had to sign somebody?
Look, he was
Cam?
He threw for 30-something touchdowns, but he also threw 30-something interceptions. So he can throw. At least we'd have a quarterback that can throw. Last year you had a quarterback that literally couldn't throw.
There's rumors out there that they still might re-sign Cam.
I hope they do.
You hope they do?
Yeah, do it. Yeah, see what happens.
You wouldn't be upset?
It won't be a good year.
He'd be mad.
No, I mean, it just doesn't help. Doesn't help you. You didn't have a backup quarterback that can't throw?
There's plenty of good, solid veterans out there, right? You got Ryan Fitzpatrick.
After what we all saw in 2020, from start to finish, you can't sit here and you can't say that Cam Newton gives you the best chance to win football games. You can't.
No.
He can't even run.
Not the way it looked.
Put on all his highlights from 2014, 2015, do whatever.
You'd be
great.
better off with Marcus Mariota, though.
You would.
Because at least he's a younger Cam.
The only thing about him is he's been hurt a lot. He had nerve damage in his arm and stuff. He couldn't feel his fingers.
I just don't know why. I just think you draft a quarterback and sign Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Because if Fitzpatrick was the quarterback last year on the team in 2020, they may have made the playoffs. They would have definitely won more games.
If they go get Mariota, they're going to be similar to what they were last year. Because
Hey,
when Mariota was in Tennessee with Tannehill, I was at the preseason game, and I said it. We can go find the clip somewhere. I said Tannehill's going to start for this team before the year's over, just by watching the two guys throw in preseason, just warm-ups.
Mariota was hurt then, though. I think he's been healthy since then.
He hasn't played.
Didn't he break his hip and
no.
tear his rotator cuff? He had something.
No, I don't think he did that.
He had a big injury.
No, I don't think he's ever had a big injury.
I think that's why. Yeah, I'm almost positive he did.
No, I think he had just like stingers in his right arm.
I thought it was a big injury.
That's it. Nope, never serious. Yep, strained pectoral muscle. That's about it.
Here it is. You get cervical neck stinger, arm elbow sprain, thigh hamstring.
That's it.
Leg fibula fracture. See, I knew he did something. Broke
Week
his leg.
16. Fibula. That ain't nothing. Your fibula? Fib-tib? Just a little. That's a little. Cast it. You're good to go. Nothing like crazy surgery.
I really want to see Ryan Fitzpatrick. Draft a quarterback. He doesn't even have to be a first-round quarterback.
Just get a nice, young, talented player.
What, you mean in the draft?
Yeah.
But you don't have to go in the first round and get it.
No, they got Tom in the 6th. You're never going to find that again. But you could find.
Well, you got Tom in the 6th. You got Jimmy Garoppolo in the 2nd. I mean, you can find that quarterback.
You can find a good, solid quarterback.
Not every quarterback isn't a first
round. Are you going to find an Aaron Rodgers? Are you going to find another Tom Brady? Probably not. Yeah. But can you find a competitive guy that can throw the ball?
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
And you still got Stidham.
And make good decisions.
And Stidham is still here, which obviously they don't have any confidence in, but he's still here.
But the thing is, how do you have confidence in somebody, though, if you've never given him a shot?
Because they say they're evaluating in practices. And
but
all
who
that
do they
stuff.
have to throw to in practice? They're practice squad receivers almost.
No, I mean, that's what I don't know. I also feel like with Cam, it was like a confidence thing. Like they didn't want to bench him because he would have tanked, even though they replaced him in the season. But that doesn't give Stidham the best opportunity to excel.
Can you see it? Can you see them going with Stidham?
Just Stidham?
Well, no, like sign a veteran, but Stidham beats him out in camp.
I don't like the confidence stuff like during the season. Like you would have felt if they had a little bit more in Stidham, they would have given him a chance.
But look at do you think that
they didn't give him a chance?
Do you think that Damian Harris though in 2019 showed more promise than Sony Michel in practice, and Damian Harris didn't dress for any games?
Well, he was hurt.
But he was hurt. But he was only hurt for a little bit. And
but I think that they also see rookies in a different he's redshirting kind of thing.
Yeah,
like they don't take a rookie and be like, oh, we're gonna.
You don't think they could have been with Stidham let's not throw him in there with the guys that we have surrounding him right now. Let's not ruin his confidence by putting him in there with
let's put him in at the fourth quarter when we're down 40 points.
But if you're down in the fourth quarter, it's not like I don't think that's a confidence thing, right? It's different if you're starting the game.
I mean, they put him in against the Jets. He threw a pick 6, and they put Tom back in. That's not good for confidence.
Yeah, that was his rookie year, though.
I know, but that's talk about confidence.
38-0.
Yeah, talk about confidence. They're 38-0. Throws a pick 6. Tom, get back in there. What do you think that does to your confidence? It's
that's why they ruined it.
Yeah, it's not good.
You invested a 4th-round pick in the guy. You think you just want to see what it is. Why'd you spray it first like that?
That's just disinfect everything here.
Oh, okay.
The microphone. It smells funny.
I want to see them have, at least give him a shot to see what it is, because I think the draft, all the early picks, they should be used on, defensive skill positions or offensive skill positions. Like you'd rather that, I think, than see a quarterback right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's good wide receivers out there. There's a good linebacker, that Micah Parsons kid, the kid from Penn State.
Yep.
You get some glaring holes there, a tight end in Pitts or something like that. I mean, wouldn't you rather them go that route? And then figure something out about quarterback.
I want to see quarterback position number 1 filled, and then let them figure out the rest. That's your most important position.
But would you be drafting a quarterback early, or would you be signing a quarterback or trading for a quarterback?
Your best bet to be able to sign talented players is to draft a quarterback, a young quarterback, have his contract for 5 years, and then you have all the equity in paying the big-time players. Your young guy quarterback hopefully takes off, has some type of Herbert-ish. Like if you could find Herbert, a guy like that, they're set. I mean, they're set for 10, 12 years.
Yeah, if you get Herbert.
Yeah, but you just got to find somebody like that.
But the thing is, though, is they're in an awkward position because if I think those type
of guys.
Look at
Buffalo. Buffalo right now, they're riding high because they're like, we got Josh Allen. We got him. He's here.
Yeah.
For the next 10 years, we're going to be competitive.
But the problem is, though, is I think in the draft, you're stuck at a position in the draft where none of those guys are going to fall to you.
Well, maybe you got to trade up. Maybe you got to go up.
Like, would you like to see them trade up and get like Trey Lance? 28 touchdowns, no interceptions.
I would like for them to finally trade up and get a big impact player. Somebody that's an impact player. Quarterback, receiver. But I'm saying if you can get a highly talented top 10 player that is like a kind of like a guy that is going to develop in the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
You can take that and have that as your like, this is our foundation.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying with that 15th pick, though. If you can't trade up, but there's going to be a lot of good players that fall there, right? Like, because a lot of the draft show, like Waddle fall in there, Pitts fall in there. I mean, some big time, Michael Parsons.
Yep.
You know, that if a team didn't need a quarterback, right, they'd be like top 5 in the draft and all that. I'd rather see them draft something like that and then go get a 3rd-round quarterback or a 4th-round quarterback, you know, get the next tier of it and see what happens, basically. Yeah. And sign a veteran, sign like a Ryan Fitzpatrick or Tyrod Taylor.
Dude,
or something
I don't
like
think Fitzpatrick was like in sunny Florida.
He
probably
came out and said that he would sign in New England.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe that he fit in real nice. You guys, he definitely have to be on a Dan O'Brien commercial.
But he'd win though.
He's good.
Like, you know, he would have. I mean, if you put a little, you know, if you sign like a Hunter Henry, you know, drafted a good receiver. I mean,
it's just crazy. It's crazy to think that like before the guys that didn't play, the guys that opted out, the cap was at like nothing, and then they had like $15 million in cap space this season.
Yeah, but I think it was just too late at that point.
Yeah, and then now they have what, 60?
67, I think. If all the players come back, that's if
so if
all
they
the
don't,
opt-outs,
then they get more.
Yeah, and they can restructure some deals in there too. I mean, there's some deals to restructure.
I mean, if you didn't play last year, I would assume if you opted out, do you think that they hold that against them?
The player?
Yeah. You think they're like?
I don't think Bill would.
You don't think he'd be? You don't think he'd have a little bit of like you held out and I had the worst year ever. Thank you.
I think maybe on like some of the players, like maybe like the lower tier guys that didn't like they signed like Marquise Lee or something or one of that receiver. Yeah. And like I think like a couple weeks later he opted out.
What about like Bolden? Brandon Bolden. You think he was a special teams player?
I think Bill's got something for him because he left and came back, so it's like something, you know. Yeah. I think he likes something about there. I don't think he'll hold anything against Hightower because, you know, it's kind of.
Well, he was having a baby.
Yeah. You know, I don't think he'll hold anything against Chung. You know, Chung was having a baby.
Baby.
Yeah, but like.
How about Cannon?
Matt Lacoste.
Cannon. Lacoste.
Yeah.
You're done, bud.
Who else? It was like Cannon, Lacoste, Lee. I think those would be the ones.
Cannon.
Like that won't. You won't see
well,
that.
Cannon's probably 450 pounds right now. He's probably been in Texas the whole year just eating up that barbecue.
Physical soon, won't he? Didn't come for a physical, probably.
I don't know.
At the end of the year, he probably had to.
I have no idea.
Had to have. That's what they do, don't they?
I mean, I don't know if you opted out. I don't even know if you have to have a physical.
You see the report that all the front office and all the coaches have been at Gillette now for 2 weeks.
Doing what?
Working on 2021. Huh? Normally they don't come back until like
normally
a week after the Super Bowl.
They had from December all the way till now off, so they've had their 2 months off. You get 8 weeks off. I'm sure they're back.
They've been back for 2 weeks. They're the only team that's been back. You think
right back to it.
Do you think Bill's gonna be very motivated now? Like even more motivated?
Because of Tom?
Yeah.
I think he's motivated. I think his motivations have been the same. I don't think it pushes him to another level of motivation.
Motivated people, though, do get pushed.
No, I'm saying I feel like I don't think that he's going to change. I don't think his thought process. I don't think like they had time off and then he was like, you know what, Tom's back in the Super Bowl. Let's get back in the office. Like I think that he already had that set up. Like, all right, season's over. You have 6 weeks off and we're back at it.
You think Bill called Tom after the Super Bowl?
Maybe a text. Congrats. Yeah. I don't know.
Congrats. Do you think he set like an emoji or something like that? Bill has his own emoji.
I mean, he's got to respect the fact that that's. I mean, the guy.
Well, Bill respects the game.
Nothing was given, so I'm sure he's just like, man, that's impressive. You got to be impressed. You have to You have to tip your hat and be like, yo, even if you hated Tom and you weren't a fan, you got to have like.
There's still plenty of them.
Tons of them. Like you got to say, well, geez, like that's respectful. Like the dude went to a new place, COVID, getting kicked out of parks, going into the wrong house, thinking it was
thought it was at Leftwich's house.
Leftwich's house was his neighbor's house. I mean, all that stuff combined, then they win the Super Bowl. I mean, get out of here. Yeah. 3 away games prior, win the wild card.
That was a bye.
Go up. What?
The wild card was a bye.
Yeah, true. But then you go up to Lambeau. It's impressive.
Yeah. The impressive game.
Going to the Saints, beat the Saints.
Yeah, well, that I don't think that was impressive because Drew Brees. I mean, they would Saints would have a better shot if Taysom Hill was the quarterback of that game. But no, it was definitely. I mean, he won 7 Super Bowls. 7.
It's crazy.
I mean, he's won more than any team.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal. I mean,
well,
nobody's ever going to.
I hate when people say that he's won more than any team. Like the teams that he was on won more than any team.
Oh, hit a nerve, huh?
No, but I'm saying it's not Tom that won these games. It's not Tom that has won 7 rings. Like, he needed a defense to make plays. He needed a D-line to get after a quarterback. He needed an offensive line to protect him.
But isn't he the GOAT?
He is the GOAT. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. But his teams won
GOAT
7.
GOAT is greatest of all time.
He is the greatest
NFL player of all time.
He's the greatest NFL player of all time. Won 7 Super Bowl rings with 7 great teams.
Yes, that's what I wanted to get at.
7 great teams.
Everybody is saying it's just Tom.
It's not just Tom.
Not in football. Like, you could maybe say that in basketball.
Like if it was tennis or like golf
or basketball, where you only got 9 to 10 guys on the team. You have what with the practice squad and everything.
You got 53
on the main
60,
roster.
Then you have 8 practice squad guys.
And then you have people in and out all season.
Yeah.
So you're going to have like 75 different people.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes all that 75.
I mean,
look at
Tom's not winning.
Tom's
not winning. So think about it this way: first Super Bowl, Vinatieri defense and Vinatieri field goal. I think all Super Bowls were won by like 3 points or less. Like,
pretty much.
The 03-04 was really close.
The Panthers.
Like, that was interception by who had that pick at the end? Was it Ty Law or?
I think it was Ty Law. No.
Or was it Harrison? Like against the Eagles at the end
against
there?
the Eagles?
Yeah, against the Eagles.
It might have been. It was Harrison.
But
there was a pick in the Carolina game, the second Super Bowl. Vinatieri hit a field goal to win that one. Then there was a pick at the end. I think it was Harrison on the Eagles one. And then you go to...
And then Carolina was field goal.
Carolina was field goal. The second one.
Yeah, second one field goal.
The third one was the Eagles. Which was a close game.
Close game.
The fourth one was... They beat the fourth one.
Malcolm.
Oh, that's right. The Seahawks, yeah.
Interception.
Yeah.
So, like, would we have won that game if it wasn't for Malcolm or them not?
Should have lost that game.
The comeback?
Which one? Oh, yeah. That was Brady.
The comeback.
You can give that game to
the comeback?
You can kind of.
Hightower doesn't make that sack fumble, we lose.
Yeah, he starts the whole chain.
Yeah,
but Brady still has to execute down that stretch to make it all.
The pass that Julian caught, the crazy one that was one.
Did you think
rotation.
He actually got that?
No, that was
but say, do you think he caught it? Like when you were on the field, I know he caught it.
No, I didn't. Yeah, it looked like, but it was an underthrown ball. And if the defender actually caught the ball, it was an interception.
It was an inch lower.
He batted it, and it went up, and then he caught it. So that was,
it was
close
almost
to
like
being
the defender
pick.
He was surprised.
Yeah,
he was like, whoa.
And he did that.
Yeah.
When it could have just been like game over.
It was a bad throw. Yeah.
There's factors that go into.
And then the Rams Super Bowl was when they beat the Rams again.
Yeah, that was defense. I mean, the Rams should have been the Saints Patriots. The Rams shouldn't even been there.
That was a defense that won that game though.
Yes. Golf sucks, and that's why he's the Detroit Lion.
Yeah. I mean that's what I want to get to is that everybody's it's obviously Brady because he won. I
have 2 Super Bowl rings. I easily could have been 0-3.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl, but I have 2 wins. Easily could have been the other way though. You know, we lose to the Giants.
You were on the Giants team, the second Giants
The
one?
second one, yeah.
Yeah, but you could have also easily beat the Giants twice, though, too.
Yeah, one catch. That's it.
I mean,
one catch. I feel terrible for Wes. I feel bad for Wes because he deserves to have a damn Super Bowl ring, but he doesn't have one.
I thought he had one with the Broncos.
He was gone.
Oh,
they won the next year after.
Okay.
I feel bad for guys like Wes Welker, Logan Mankins, guys that never got a Super Bowl. It's ridiculous, and they're freaking.
Never did.
He played
Super Bowls.
We played a Super Bowl with a torn ACL.
Yep.
But then they won't pay him, and then they trade him.
No, they paid him.
After he missed, the only games he ever missed was him holding out for a contract.
I know. They paid him.
Yeah, they paid him, and then they traded him the year that we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's freaking crazy.
To Tampa.
To Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the one thing, though, is everybody's it's the, look, it's definitely Brady. It's Brady. Look, he won on his own.
So Brady can bring you a different sense of it.
Yes, he brings the team.
He brings that sense of urgency into the locker room that guys that maybe kind of needed a little bit of
he's a leader.
Bringing them in. Yes. You get those guys that are kind of floating off and they're talented, like a Mike Evans, he's very talented, but he needed a little bit more discipline. Yo, run your route like this. And a guy like Tom Brady, when he says that and he looks at you and screams at you, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not Cam Newton screaming.
Yeah, but if it's Cam Newton, you're like, get out of here.
No, that's what Brady brings, but it also is the team around there. Because if Brady went to a lot of different teams that needed quarterbacks, he wouldn't have won.
I think if he was a Saints quarterback, they would have won.
Yes, I'll give you that. But that's because I give you that one.
So I think if the Saints had Tom Brady, Saints win the Super Bowl,
but
Tampa loses.
But then what other team in the NFL was a quarterback away?
Colts.
Phillip Rivers still played okay.
Yeah, but I think he could have played better.
The defense kind of let him down.
The defense is good though,
but they let him down in the playoffs. They didn't play well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think that was it. There's nobody else. I guess maybe the Rams.
They've been really good. They got a great defense.
But the problem is, then yes, you can take that, but Tom could never have signed there because of the money.
Yeah,
they could have paid him $1 million.
Or Chicago. I think Chicago, if they had a good quarterback. No, if they had a good quarterback, though, they have no quarterback. I don't think they would have been a Super Bowl team, but they would have been good. They have a good defense. Better than
the Packers, though. I don't think so. Not many, though. I mean, Tom went to the perfect scenario for him, the perfect one. East Coast team who wanted to be on the East Coast. They were a quarterback away. Great defense. Good weapons on offense.
Jacksonville?
They had Minshew. Minshew's been mentioned to be the Patriots quarterback.
I would love to hang out with him.
He'd be better than Cam
Newton. Have him on this show.
Be better than Cam Newton.
Yes, he would.
All right, I think it's a good time to take a break here and come back and talk about something else.
I'm empty. I need another one.
All right.
All right, we're back. The Dan and Ninko Show. We covered Tom and the Super Bowl run, the magical Super Bowl run that we saw.
Did you sleep in your Tom pajamas that night?
I actually slept in my Tom sheets. In the nude.
What?
In the nude.
His sheets?
Just Tom Brady sheets.
like a picture of him on there?
No, they're TB12 sheets. They say TB12 all over, print all over. I just slide in there. I'm kidding. I spilled on myself. So if you see this little wet mark here, it's not drool. I don't sit here like, ooh, Ninkovich has brain damage.
Yeah.
You know what I love? I love the angry, mean tweets.
Oh, when Tom read them?
No. My own. If I go through
you get them?
Oh, yeah. I get Ninkovich is the worst commentator.
I gotta look this up.
Ninkovich is the worst I've ever seen on ESPN, and his CTE is taking over his brain. That's the shit that I read. I'm just laughing.
How do you find you just go on Twitter?
It's just on my mentions. Yeah, it'll just
it's on your mentions.
Yeah.
How many a day? Or is it just when you're on?
It's not even on this phone. I have it on that other phone because I don't even have Twitter on this phone. I don't even look at my Twitter, honestly.
Why do you have multiple phones?
Well, this was my wife's phone. and she gave it to me when I bought her a new phone. I am like an anti-buy a new phone guy. Like, I'll rock this until it's dead, until the battery stops working.
It's an iPhone 3.
I don't know what this is. It's broke on the back, but the front's good. I need a case for it. But anyway, I buy my wife a new phone, and I'll take her old phone. So,
does she need a new phone now?
My beard, huh?
Does she need a new phone now?
No, her phone's brand new.
Okay.
It's the new one with like the 7 cameras on it. She gave me this one, and then my old phone. It was like an iPhone 4 or whatever. I have like Twitter on that, but I don't ever look at my Twitter, so I don't like even download it because it's like pointless for me.
No,
I think Twitter's ridiculous. Like, people say stupid shit anyway.
We should read them though, because I get some too. So,
yeah, I mean,
one time we should just.
I'll bring them in.
I'll
read it. Yeah. I'll read them. It's like there's some stuff. It can be offensive, but
yeah, I get some too.
It can be pretty offensive, but you just laugh. And I always look at the followers and say, "Oh, this guy tweeted out to 24 people. Like, get the hell out of here." You know what I'm saying?
But it's only about ES. I guess there was stuff when you were playing, probably. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like if you missed a tackle like one time.
Yeah, but more so now with ESPN, because like you have to imagine, like, every pick you take, there's another side to that where they're like you're an idiot, or
so now you're getting fans from other teams.
You get fans from other teams that think you're like they hate you because.
So when you did that Bruce Arians thing, Tom needed a new coach. Did you get a bunch of Tampa fans?
I mean, you get people that are like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're CTE. Like, that's the biggest thing now. Like, the biggest thing for people to go to, like, if you're an athlete, if you played football, is CTE.
Yeah,
that's the first thing I say. Looks like his CTE's getting him. Oh, okay, you're an idiot. Shut up. But like, I was listening to I think it was UFC. It had Diaz. Was it Nate Diaz? It had Nate Diaz, which Nate Diaz talks a certain way, and I don't know if he is high or if that's the way he talks.
I think it's a little brain damage.
You think so?
He's like if I saw Nate Diaz with your shirt right now, I think he maybe drooled on himself.
Oh, you would think that's drool. But like, I don't like. So I was watching. Cause I'm a big like fight fan. I love watching like UFC. I think it's absolutely brutal when I watch some of these like guys get KO'd. But like, there's these interviews with these guys. I think it's actually intriguing because I like to listen to them and, you know, just see kind of like what they're doing day to day. And they had an interview. I'll pull it up real quick. It was a new one too.
Place.
Anyway, Nate. No, when I watch him, I'm a big fan of the Diaz brothers. The fighting game is rough. It's like,
yeah, they don't make a lot of money or anything.
No, they don't. Like,
it's
I feel
not like prize fighting boxing or anything like that. Like, you know, there's a $90 million purse or something like that. Like, they're like $200,000.
When you look at like a fight card and it goes through like their compensation, like a UFC undercard, they make 5 G's to get KO'd. Yeah. And they don't just get KO'd like a football player, like, I'm concussed. They get frozen.
Yeah,
and then they have a guy hit them, like, and then their head bounces, and then they bounces, and you're like,
then finally the ref gets in there,
and you're like, oh no, like, is he okay? Yeah. Like, they had a flying knee this weekend. I was like,
did you see the Max Holloway Calvin Kattar fight? Calvin Kattar from New England here
with the knee?
No, they went like toe to toe, and Holloway. I mean, Holloway just kept hitting him and hitting him and hitting. I mean, Kattar took shot after shot after shot and was smiling, just like blood gushing down, nose broken, just smiling. I mean, it got to the point that I was like scared. I'm like, I don't want to ever like, you know, I don't want to be around that guy because like if you got into a fight, like that guy is just going to kill you.
I mean, all those guys could kill you.
Yeah.
But I would say this: how big is that guy?
He's like a featherweight or something.
I would kill that guy.
I don't know.
If you're 250 pounds,
can we do something like that?
What do you want?
Like
a real fight?
Yeah,
I'm not
like
fighting anybody.
If I set up like a sparring match, you can have like face gear on and all that.
I don't know if I want to get hit in the head.
That'd be a good adventure.
I've been hit in the head a lot.
Yeah, but you'll have gear on.
I mean, but
kicks.
But then you're like fighting someone.
Yeah, like
I don't
want
to fight
match.
Anybody. I'm just saying that if you're 250, and you're fighting a featherweight and you punch him as hard as you can and it hits him in the face, it's going to be more destructive than
like
2 featherweights.
Like, you know, like blue belts and black
I'll do some
belts
grappling. You try and tap me out or something, but I'm strong too. Like if I was wrestling a 140-pound guy,
I think this is going to be a good show because I can get the guys I can get like Rob Font and Calvin Cater and Tyson
I
Chartier.
mean, if it's a heavyweight, if it's heavyweight on a heavyweight, like it's strength against strength. If it's heavyweight versus featherweight, like your strength, that's why they have the weight classes, because your strength can overpower.
But you're in on this, right?
Certain things.
That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, but I don't want to punch anyone. I don't want to get punched in the face.
Grappling then?
Yeah, I'll do grappling. I used to do jiu-jitsu. I wrestled.
We got to set this up.
I wrestled for a couple years.
That'd be fun.
I was almost state in my first year of wrestling. I hated wrestling, by the way. It was disgusting.
Wrestling's crazy because you got to like cut weight and all that. But you had to cut weight to play football, right?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Wrestling's nuts. Like Nate Diaz, when he has to go to 150.
Yeah, they gotta
how is that possible?
Themselves. They gotta starve themselves.
He's like 190 or 200 pounds.
That's only at the weigh-in, and then all of a sudden you're 10, 15 pounds heavier at the fight.
Yeah, but that's gotta affect you a certain way. Like that you can't have all your energy back.
They're just used to it though.
Like I was watching. I follow Forrest Griffin, and he'll do like a fun cut. Like he'll just try to cut like he used to.
Like cut weight?
Yeah. Like on his Instagram, he'll do like a
like how to do it?
Had a 25, like he'll just do it like probably he did when he was fighting, but I don't get it because is it great? Is it great for you to do that?
What?
To cut that much weight?
No, I don't think it's healthy at all. It doesn't screw up your heart and everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't think it's healthy at all.
It's like,
do NFL players have to do it when they go back for their physicals at the beginning of the year? I figure linemen.
Some guys do, yeah. Some guys have to cut weight, but I mean these guys cut.
Some people have weigh-in clauses in their contracts, right?
These guys cut substantially.
But don't linemen have a lot of weight clauses in their contract?
Yeah, they do. They do. They do 100%. Like some guys, if they have some linemen have a hard time getting their weight to where it should be, and then during the season, every time that they go to weigh in, they got to go cut weight.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting our boys into jiu-jitsu and MMA.
I think it's good. I mean, wrestling and all that stuff is good as far as it's cool to understand I guess leverage and technique and wrestling and all that stuff but if you go to college or you're a scholarship wrestler, you only have one other path to go after that, and that's MMA. If you want to go make a living, if you're a great wrestler,
yeah.
in jiu-jitsu, you got to go fight. Which I mean, was it Poirier? He just beat McGregor.
Yeah, pretty bad.
But McGregor,
you watch that fight?
McGregor, yeah. But McGregor comes in on a $8 million boat, and he's made.
Yeah, but McGregor made all that money in the Mayweather fight.
I know, but Proper 12 is Jameson or whatever Irish whiskey.
It's the same.
It's making him what, $500 million or $1 billion?
It's a different label.
I know, but I'm saying it's made him that much money. Why fight? Why fight?
Because he gets a lot of money when he fights.
I know, but if he keeps getting beat, I don't think. I mean, I feel like he's
probably got one more fight.
I feel like
if he doesn't win it.
I feel like he's at a point now. He's made so much money, the hunger and the dedication's gone.
Yeah, there's still a rumor though he might fight Khabib again.
Khabib's gonna kill him.
Yeah, but it would generate a lot of money. It's all about money. It's all it is.
I know.
I mean, look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson got all his money stolen by Don King.
That's a shame too.
I mean, Tyson was crazy, absolutely crazy, what he did.
Forrest Griffin. How does Forrest Griffin only have 134,000 followers?
Because it hasn't been that big. UFC just got big recently with McGregor. Yeah, it's probably been McGregor, right? That's been the big time in UFC. It's kind of when he went to the two titles, two different divisions.
Yep.
I mean, McGregor was one of the best. Probably will go down as one of the best UFC fighters ever. I mean, the guy literally held two belts in two different divisions.
Were you a UFC, a big time UFC guy early in UFC?
Not early, no.
So I used to love the early UFC, Forrest Griffin. Who was the guy that he fought in the beginning? What the hell is this guy's name?
I remember watching it when they used to wear the karate gis and everything. Remember that?
who's a Stephan Bonner.
Yeah.
Stephan Bonner. Like, that dude's a freaking animal.
Remember they used to wear the karate gis and everything?
Yeah. Yeah.
When it was like Pride.
That's when they used to have like, just, they looked like dudes juiced out of their minds, like trying to knock each other out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo Slice, dead. A lot of those guys are dead.
Yeah, no, most of them are. But no, UFC fighting's crazy. I'm just shocked that they don't make. I mean, Dana White's got that whole thing locked down. They don't make anywhere near.
He's a New England guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
Dana White. He's a big Patriot fan.
He's a smart guy, though.
He'll respond to Ninko when I hit him up.
Oh,
I'll talk to him on Instagram.
Oh, really? About what?
Just stuff, like if he posts something, I'll hit him up. Be like, he did some on like the stair stepper. I said level 10, 30 minutes, killer. And
why don't you use that power? Get like Dana White on the show. We can talk about
Dana White. He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, he might come on.
I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
Sure he would. Say, hey, let's...
I mean, I don't understand how you don't have Bruce Arians on the show right now.
We can get Bruce on the show. We can get the Bruce on.
Get Bruce on. We'll put a TV up right here. We'll have him on via Zoom.
So this is a question.
We'll talk about the Ninko in his
question.
Head.
If Ninko went and coached for, say... Not Tampa, because I wouldn't coach for Tampa. Bruce wouldn't hire me. I'm burping. Say I went and coached for, like, the Saints... or New York. Say I coach for the Giants.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Ninko fans would not be Ninko fans if I was a coach in New 100%. York? Dang it. That sucks.
What are you? I've had some coaching now?
No, well, I've had a couple, feelers contact me about if I was interested.
Let's go coach for Bill.
That's not one of the feelers.
Yeah,
it's kind of just like how I have to pay for a ticket to go. It's like how I have to pay for a ticket to go to the Saints.
He's waiting for you, though.
Patriot games.
He's waiting for you. He wants you to reach out to him.
I don't know if I want to coach.
I mean, just think you could go. You go with these.
I don't know if I want to do that. That's like
here.
I don't know if I want to do that. That's
just by talking to you over the about like these younger players and all that. You wouldn't be able to handle these younger players.
No, I probably wouldn't.
Like you would freak out.
I'd probably want to strangle somebody.
Yeah, like. What would you do with Chase Winovich?
I'd put pads on and say I'm a tight end. Don't let me block you.
But it wouldn't go well, though.
Yeah, because I'd block him.
Yeah. Like I actually think you could survive as a coach with like Belichick or like Joe Judge or something like that. Mm-hmm. But if you went to go be a coach with like Bruce Arians or Pete Carroll, they would hate you because you would.
No, it'd have to be a Belichick like tree.
A tree, right?
So like the Belichick tree. Vrabel,
Joe Judge,
Sean Payton, Joe Judge.
Yeah,
I have a lot of options. I could go down to Miami. I could go to New York. I could go to the Saints. I could go to Tennessee. So there's 5 teams.
But you're ready to go work like 14 hours a day.
That's more like 20 hours a day.
Yeah. Sleep in your office.
I think there's a difference. Like when you're playing and you say, because everybody when they're playing, they say to themselves like, I don't want to coach. I don't want to coach.
Yeah,
I don't want to coach.
Who was that that just brought it up? Who's the guy? Amendola.
Dola.
Yeah, talking about like all the coaches do is watch film, which I mean
that's all you can do. You can't go play, but yeah. I think that my stance on coaching has definitely softened a bit because when I retired, I was like, I don't want to coach. I don't want to coach. I don't want to coach, because you see like the things that they do and the hours that they're in, and you just realize that you as a player, you're out there making the plays and that's all you know and that's all you've done, so you feel like that's your thing. And then when you get away from it, you kind of realize that the outside world, like the normal world, is pretty freaking lazy and pretty damn unmotivated and pretty much not professional compared to like the way that you are a professional athlete.
Well, it's even like that with teams, though.
The way you prepare.
But it's like that with teams. Some teams are lazy and all that.
I know. So like when you're with the Patriots, for example, everything's on time. Everything is done a certain way. Yeah. Everyone's accountable. You go and you do something with another business or whatever you're doing, and like they tell you a time, and you're like, I've always done this at this time, and you say the time and you do it, and then like the time comes and goes, and they're like, oh yeah, it's like 15 minutes later. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, it's just, it's a no big deal.
But I think some teams are that way, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like the Jaguars.
I wouldn't. That's why I couldn't do that.
The Cowboys, just those type teams.
That's why I couldn't. I mean, coaching to me, you miss my wife even said, Paige even said to me after the Super Bowl, she's like, every February since you retired, you were like depressed in February. I'm like, I'm not depressed. She's like, yeah, you are. You're acting weird today. I'm like, I'm not acting weird. I'm just like
depressed.
It's not depression. It's just
the season's over.
Yeah, it's like
what do I do now?
What the hell is this? Like it's like
but
everything goes through the season, you get to the Super Bowl, and then there's like nothing. You're like,
think if you want to go be a coach, then you work 11 and a half months out of the year. And
I know, but people want to work, and then when you work, I feel
people don't want to work. There's a select few that do.
Well, those
are the people that are on the higher level of things, right?
When you're a professional athlete, you're so accustomed to working. But
some are, though. Some are. The problem is you're thinking about the way you were, right?
My experience
because you were a low draft pick.
Yes.
You got cut 3 times.
Yes.
You had to work at everything to get there, right?
Yes.
You had to get there.
Yes.
It's different you're in high school, right? And you have 20 different offers. You literally have a freaking table when you're a 16-year-old in college, and you have all these hats, and you're like, which hat do I do to this?
Yeah.
Those are you just become this.
Yeah.
And
then you're OBJ.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, just think about that. Like, what if you were a coach and you had one of those guys that you guys drafted in the first round, a defensive end?
That would be tough.
Right? That was a diva.
That'd be really tough. It'd be really tough.
Because you know what you did to get there. And you're not going to be able to make those people get to there. That's one thing in my business I had to do. Like, I worked my way up. I did it all on my own. So, I watch a lot of people. And I used to get, really pissed. You don't appreciate this. You don't want to do this. You don't want to take the next step and all that. And I finally realized, listen, there's only a small amount of people that do. But, over time, the majority don't. But you just got to accept that. And
I don't like that. I don't like the acceptance.
That's the hard thing.
And then even after you retire, for example, this is my 4th season not playing. When you get out, you're excited that you're finally free.
Yeah, the first year or two is good.
You're like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then you get into a couple things that you thought you'd be interested in.
Yep.
And then you do that, and you're like, okay, this is cool, but is it fulfilling? Do you have fulfillment in the things that you're doing?
That's just some people, though.
I feel like you have to be you have to have clear cut goals or places to go.
Yeah.
To go towards, because then if you don't, then it's just you're floating, just floating around.
So I do a training with the staff, and I actually just did it. And I categorize people into 3 different types of people in the car dealership business. So I relate it to salespeople. So there's a 1 to 3 month, there's a 4 month to 11 month, and there's a 12 month plus. And I signify that as salespeople, because usually most salespeople, their best months are the first to the 3rd month, because they don't know anything. They just sit there and take customers, and they actually listen to them, and they follow the process the right way and all that. And you look at their sales, and it's just up. Then we call it the 4 month to 11 month, which the sales just go up, down, because they start thinking they know everything. And then a lot of people hit the 12-month thing, which is just this continual gradual off, because everybody sucks. I know everything. I can do it this way. I'm better than this person and all that, and I just know everything. So then the sales just kind of fall down. So you categorize people in those things, and the 1% that do well, that keep continuing the business, are always that 1 to 3, because they just don't think they know everything. They want to keep learning. They just strive for something more every single day. But there's only 1% of people in there, and 99% in the other 2. And that's just the world. That's what you're in.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I want to challenge myself, because even my workouts, I just did I was doing this 7-minute 2,000 meter row, and I was like, man, I couldn't get it for the longest time. I couldn't get it. Yeah. And then I texted my buddy Jake Beckett, who used to be a Patriot, and then he went off to the Army and he was a Ranger, and he's a badass now. And I texted him. I said, Jake, try this row. You got 7 minutes to hit 2,000 meters. So he texted me back, and it was his first try. He did it in like 6 minutes, 53 seconds. I'm like, F you. I've been trying that for like 3 months. I can't get it. And he showed me, like, he was texting me a technique. He's like, do the 1,500 meters at a minute 43 pace per 500 meters. If you can do that, then the last 500 meters, you just like, fight through the pain and just forget about it and just do it. So I go in the garage, have like 500 meters left. I get after it. I have 100 meters left with like 10 seconds. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get it. And I just cranked away, and I finished in like 6:57. It was the first time I ever did it. And that's like, I feel like you just want to like, I always want to like have a thing that I'm trying to like get to.
Yeah.
But when you're not playing football, it's like you don't have that. Like I don't have that. Like I used to, every off season, I used to like, I had like it was like a sickness. I'm like, I just need to be like the baddest dude out here, and just like, I want to go against the best tackles. I want to beat the best guys, because then it's like a challenge. It's a challenge. And then you go into the real world, and you just see that like everything is just like there is no challenge.
There is, though. It's just it's hard to see because it's 1%. It's called the Roger Bannister effect.
There's like no, like, I guess, for example, like when you go to, like, I went to a new job, and like it just felt like the accountability side of things wasn't as professional as what I would expect it to be. Because when you're with like the Patriots, or you're with Bill Belichick, like you're expected to be a certain way every single day.
Yeah.
And you have to be perfect, and you have to do it every day. You got to be consistent, and you have to repeat that over and over, and year after year after year. And if you don't, they fire you. They're like, oh, you can't do it. You're fired. And there's no other business. I don't think there's another business out there where you can walk up to somebody and be like, you are a complete waste of life.
There is, though. There definitely is.
Where can you do that? You can't do that here. You can't do that in a car. What?
Yeah, that's what I do.
You can do that?
Well, and people get mad about it. It's the same thing as the Patriots, right? Like right now, there's always people that dog the Patriots, right? Because that's the mentality, right? People think the Patriot way is Tom Brady or this or that. It's not, right? It's accountability.
Yeah, that's the Patriot way. It's getting up and doing the same thing over and over. You come in and you're supposed to do your
job. You have this job. You do it. If you don't do it, then you're held accountable for it. I mean,
they fire you. They just cut you.
Yes, but like they have that stigmata right out there that they're so hard to play for, that it's this, it's that. Like when Amendola said the thing about the Patriots, Brandon Cooks came out and said, "Listen, I practice hard. I got ready. If people aren't for the challenge, they're not for the challenge. But I love to be in New England."
Yeah, well, they traded his ass after a year.
That's the thing. But people, there's only 1% of people that want that.
If Cooks would have done, if they would have had. They wouldn't have traded him after a season if they felt that he could do that consistently for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a reason they trade and cut people.
Yeah.
If you are, this is the one thing that I knew every single year. I knew, number one, I wasn't going to be cut if I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I knew if I did it at a high level and I did it consistently, that they would never trade me. Because if you trade your most consistent and your most productive, that are great examples for everyone else, they won't let that go.
No, because you'll throw that away.
Because you'll throw that away.
Yeah, you have to be the example.
You have to be the one that comes in. They're like, he doesn't talk, he doesn't say shit. He's not out here like rah rah. He's not a big rah rah cheerleader and not backing it up.
Come and do your
job.
He
doesn't talk. He just does what he's supposed to do. He's here every day. He's never late. He's never missed a meeting. He never misses practice. He never misses games. Like, there it is, and he's consistent.
Yeah.
So, like, you go into the real world, or after you retire, and you just realize that isn't. It's hard to find that.
It's
level.
The 1%.
It's hard to find that level of like accountability.
Yeah, it's the 1%. But most people call Bill Belichick an asshole, right? You don't think that.
Have they met Captain Insano, Mike Ninkovich?
But you were raised. That was the way you were raised, right? So, like, so
my dad was raised in he used to do the naval reveille or whatever.
Yeah, But the thing is, like, you never thought as a player. I mean, you probably thought sometimes he was an asshole, but at the end of the day, when you thought about it, you were like, he just wants me to be better, right?
I mean, it's hard because nowadays everyone wants like the hug and like the pat on the back.
Yeah, the coddling.
They want the coddling. Yeah. But like, Bill would be the first one to say that if you're doing a great job at what you're supposed to do, I'm not going to come and give you a hug and like tell you did a great job, because that's what you're supposed to do. We're all paid to do a great job. We're all paid to make plays. We're paid to coach. If you're doing your job, like, it's not my place to come out and overpraise. But if you're not doing what you're supposed to do and you're not making plays, then it's my responsibility to tell you this isn't good enough, and you need to be better, or else. Yeah. And the or else is you won't be here. Or like, there's a place for somebody here that is reliable, productive, and accountable. But if you don't have those, like, I can't have you here. You know? So that was his place. And some guys have a hard time, and we've seen interviews where Bill said it's a hard place to play, because I feel like, and I sound like an old guy now, but as we get older,
back in my day,
there wasn't it wasn't a coddled like environment. Like my old man, he was working every day, and like he was gone 7 days a week working, and like, he would tell me great job, but he also, I've said it before, I'd be pitching, and he'd be on the backstop telling me don't aim it, throw it. And then I'd be like hitting guys, and then like I'd see him leave. I'm like, damn it. Yeah. Like, that's not good. But it didn't offend me. Like, I didn't think about it as like, oh man. Yeah, I was like, damn, like, I need to be better. Like, I need to work on this, or I need to be more consistent. And it just made me like kind of who I am. I might be crazy. My wife might say I'm crazy. People that play with me might be like, Ninkovich is nuts, because I was a little bit like, things had to be a certain way, and I had to, warm up a certain way, and I had to put on my 15-pound weight pants every game to glue
your socks to your feet,
do my shoes and the glue on my feet, and like the way I felt, it had to be a certain way. Yeah. But I mean, isn't that normal? That's normal for an athlete.
But that's the thing, though, is like with Belichick, right? It basically came down to if he didn't single you out, didn't talk to you, then you were doing a good job. If he was on you, you weren't doing the good job.
Yes. So if he was on you, your time was limited. Yeah.
He was trying to almost motivate you to get to where
you get to where you need to be. Yeah. And if you don't get there quickly, because in the NFL you have to either adapt or adjust quickly, or you're done. If you can't get there, he can't help you. It's like, okay, my job is to put the best guys on the field that I feel can help us win. If you can't get there quickly, then I'm sorry, you can't be a part of this.
That's what we do in my business. Is I tell people all the time, listen, if I'm talking to you, it's probably a problem. If I'm not talking to you, then it's a good thing. Like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. I don't need to be coaching. There's so many people. Yeah. How can you have? I mean, he's got 70 plus players, plus coaches, plus all that stuff. You don't have enough time to sit there and go, great job, hug, great job, hug, great job, hug. I mean, it takes way too long to do that.
See, I would never disrespect Bill. And say, like, it wasn't Bill, it was Tom. Like, I wouldn't say that ever, because Bill, has the respect over the years that, like, you see the consistency, and you see the time and the effort and the amount of knowledge that Bill has. I mean, you have to respect that. You 100% have to. Now, like Amendola, there are instances where you feel a little bit like, well, damn, like, man, I gave you a great amount of production for, at the time, you don't know like where your career is going to go, because you're young and you don't have the opportunity. So you go out there and you do it, and then you get rewarded with a contract. And the business side of things, that's the genius of Bill and how he works. He understands that, look, if you're a first round pick and you make $10 million on your first contract, you're not going to sign a second contract for $10 million. Yeah, it's going to be 40 or 20 or 30. It's going to be more. So if you're a free agent and you've made $5,000 as a signing bonus, Don't you think 500 grand sounds like a lot of money when you're 23 years old or 24 years old and you're like, I just got $5 grand 2 years ago. They're giving me 500.
Or you just got cut by the Dolphins.
Yeah, or you just get cut, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to give you
$2 million.
We're going to give you 2 years, $4 million, but it could be 6 if you play well." And you're like,
yes.
$3 million a year? Where the hell do I sign up?
Yeah. You know how many Monte Carlos I can buy with that thing?
Man, Monte Carlo SS.
I can upgrade to AC in my Silverado now.
I can go, instead of the Silverado Classic, the last year model, they're trying to. I can get the LT1, not the LT2, because I didn't get the navigation. But that's just like the. I mean, when I think back on my time in the time here in New England, I think it was only until my last year, when you're 32. I was actually 33, but when you're 33 and it's your 12th year, that you're like, is the money worth, the pain and all that shit you go through? Because
they weren't going to cut you or anything.
No, it sucks. I mean, I'm telling you, football, when you're young, it's amazing. When you're 25, 26, 27, 28, even up to 30, 31, you're like, man, this is great. If you're making 10 to 20 to a ton of money in your 30s, 32, if you're a DN and you're making 15 million, you're like, they want me to pass rush for 15 million a year. Great. But if you're making 1, you're like, all right, well, I just got killed by that center on that slide for 500 grand. Yeah. Like, I don't know if
you were thinking about the old retired NFL players playing another game for 200 grand. You were considering that one.
It was 1 game. No, it was 2 games. But I wasn't going to do that. It wasn't.
You were considering it.
I guess it's against guys that never played. They're freaking like high school kids.
Then you get ear-holed once, and you're like, oh, you shouldn't have done this.
You got to watch out for those guys because they're overzealous, But when you're in the moment of playing and you just see what a linebacker or a D lineman or like Tom, he's 43, he plays quarterback. He hit the ground 1 time in the Super Bowl. Like, literally, they hit him once.
Yeah, he wasn't touched.
Like, he wasn't touched. Like,
you've seen some of his jerseys after the Super Bowl. It's covered. Like against those Giants, both Giants games.
He was destroyed. So, of course, after that, he's gonna be like, "I'm coming back." But then, week 1, when he's when he's picking the sod out of his helmet, and he's like, I'm dying.
And Bruce Arians throwing him on the bus again.
He
needs Ninko to come to his rescue and say on ESPN, get rid of the coach.
Yeah, the coach doesn't seem to be.
Then maybe he'll start treating me nice and all that.
Well, I mean,
that's what it is. I think my sales team needs a Ninko in there. I think they need somebody to.
I didn't know if that was purple
Gatorade
on Bruce Arians or if that was just the color of him.
That was color of him
because he looks a little.
I think you have to get him on the show because I think that has to be mentioned.
He probably does not want to be on the show.
I think it'd be great.
Bruce Arians?
Yeah.
Let's try and get him.
That's all up to you there.
Yeah, that's right.
Pull that iPhone 3 out and start texting in in the green text bubbles.
This is I don't know what this is. It's a newer one.
No, it's not. Yeah. I think right now is a good time to break, and we'll come back and kind of wrap up into something.
Break.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
So we'll see you guys soon.
See ya. So we're back, the Dan and Ninko Show. We were just on some deep stuff here recently. The last little segment here, we were talking about accountability and coaching. If I was going to jump into coaching, if I was going to go down to New Orleans,
I think you would choke somebody out.
No, I would fight somebody.
Yeah, I think you would.
The issue that I have with that in particular, and we'll move on to the next thing, but the issue that I have is I just feel that in modern 2021 time, the world we're living in right now is the disrespect for authority is number one an issue.
Yeah.
So if you're a boss or you're a coach and you tell someone hey, you're not cutting it, and they look at you and they say, screw you. You're like, what?
Yeah.
No. I grew up in an era or a time where if you were told you suck, your response is, what do I need to do to get better? What do I need to do? Like, tell me what I need to do to be better. And nowadays, you tell someone they suck, they tell you, no, you suck. And you're like, no. I am the boss. I control these things. Like, take your ass out of here. You know what I'm saying? So that's the issue. And if I was a coach and I had some young kid that I was like, yo, that's terrible, and he said, F you, I'd say, no. Let's go out in this hallway. Let's see if you really can stand up to those.
That's what we talked about. If you were like a high school coach, you would be thrown out.
No,
in the
I'd
first,
tell
like,
the
2
parents.
weeks.
I'm like, hey, your son Tim, he's a real.
Yeah. What if one of those kids mouthed off to you? Would you just grab him by the helmet and just drag him all over the field?
Nope. I'd put a helmet on and I'd run him over. Say, you see that? Yeah. You did that. You did that.
See, I even have a tough time with like my daughter's like softball team. I'm like, I have to like restrain myself all the time where people are like, great job. And it's like,
so you can't throw.
No, you don't say great job. Like, don't.
They struck out. They struck out.
Yeah.
Like, tell them.
You tried.
Yeah.
Great job.
That's the world we live in, man. The world we live in.
Sometimes my wife has to grab my arm, like when I'm sitting there, and she's like, because I think she knows I'm gonna like stand up and say, stop. Like, you can't say great job.
I can't even speak about this, Ryan. But like, you know what's crazy is if you look back to even like the 80s and 90s, like you look back on like some of the things in like movies and like the way things were like done, it's like that you can't do that anymore.
No,
you can't do it.
No,
you cannot do it.
No.
So. I mean, it's just crazy.
I'll never forget. Like, I had a coach, Mr. Biddy. If he's watching this, he'll in baseball. And like, if you were afraid of like the ball, like when you were playing, like you were the kid that kind of like stepped out a little bit.
You with it.
He'd hit you.
Yeah.
I'll never forget because I had like one at bat. Kid threw a curveball and my foot kind of went out a little bit, but it went out because I just got confused on the pitch. I thought it was a fastball.
Yeah.
So the next day in practice, I get up. Mr. Biddy's throwing, getting ready to throw. I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, let's go. And then the first pitch just right off my ribs. I'm like, what the? But if you did that now, you'd be like sued.
Yeah, it's great. It sucks.
You'd be
it's
strung
not even
up.
crazy. It just sucks.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's hard to hold people accountable. It's hard for people. Like for me, it's hard. In the car business, I worked from being a salesperson all the way up to where I'm at now. So for me, it's hard. Of trying to get people to understand, hey, this is what you need to do to get there. I've done it. I want you to get there, but this is what you have to do.
But they probably don't want to be there.
They just are told. They don't want to be told what it takes to get there. They want to be there.
They want to be to the top, but they don't want to take the journey. They just want to be to the top.
Yeah, it's kind of like you.
They don't want to take the ride.
You tore your ACL, right?
Yes.
And then you had to work even harder to get back. You get cut. You go to the next team. It's like, okay, I got to work even harder than I did the last time. Then you get cut, and then it's like, okay, I got to go to the next team.
They don't want that.
Yeah.
They just want all the way to the top.
Yeah. But now it's like you get cut, and it's like, I'm going to sue you. You cut me.
It's ridiculous.
But that's what it is. That's why I don't know about the coaching thing for you. I think it would be that'd be a tough one. I think Ninko would be in a lot of fistfights.
I feel like football, though, is a different – like even a modern athlete, though, like even a young 22-year-old kid that is at least an athlete has – a little bit more mental toughness to him than just like a person that doesn't have any athletic. Because when you're playing sports, there at some point, I don't care who you are, you go through like either pain, like with the sport you're playing in, which that changes you and it affects you a little bit. Like when you just have to fight through pain, and then adversity, whenever that is. Granted, you're going to get your guys that are just the freaks, and they're like, yeah, I want this school, and then, like, I want that car when I get there with a nice bag of money in the passenger seat. Like, yeah, you're going to find those. But the majority of the time, like, you're going to get guys that have some type of, like, bump in the road. And I just don't feel like moving forward, which is why having a couple kids, I'm nervous for, like, what's their future look like?
Oh, yeah.
Like what's the future like if there is no like accountability or toughness that has to be learned, or you get hit with the pitch from the coach.
Yeah,
you just take it and you say, okay, I'll show you, and then they're like,
yeah. When I got hit by the pitch, the next thing I did was I was like, I'm gonna line this ball back at this guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and hit him.
Yeah, like just take it right back to him and just hit him as hard as I can. But that's not the world today. Like that's just not what it is. Like I call it grinders. Like you want people that are going to grind it out, that are going to, they're going to keep going no matter what. They're going to be told.
Yeah.
They're not going to take, hey, you did something wrong as, hey, they're yelling at me. I'm upset. Like, I'm upset. I should be in my safe zone. Like, I'm telling you, I'm going to be hard on you because I think you can be more, but it's going to be a hard journey to get there because that's what it was for me. It was hard. Like, it wasn't easy. Same thing for you. It wasn't easy, right? To get cut 2 to 3 times, be told that you're nothing, and then make yourself into something.
I think that's like when I think back on just my childhood and the way I was raised and the way that my parents raised me, like my old man, Captain Insano, we call him Captain Insano, Mike Ninko, like when you just like observe people and like the routine and the way that they do things and they do it consistently, they don't have to say anything and they don't have to even like talk to you about it, but you just observe the consistency of it. And then it almost makes it like, okay, well, whatever I do, I should do it like this. Like I get up every day, like 5 o'clock in the morning, I go to work, I'm home at 5 at night, 7 days a week. And you're like, that's 30, 40 years. And you just watch it. You're like, okay, like every day.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
Every day, you're home at 5. Every day, you eat dinner. Every day, like that's the way it should be, right? And then when you get into like for myself, when I got into sports, I think it was easier for me to look at like a routine. Like, okay, I go to work out. I go work out every day. I go to school every day, and then you perfect it, and you try to be you try to be the best at what you're doing, and then you get better and you get better. And granted, like I've said this to people too, like you have to have. Like if I was 5'8", 180 pounds, I wouldn't have been an NFL football player. But like when you witness consistency from your parents, then you put it in your like whatever you're doing, your athletic, whatever. Like for me, it was football, and then I got bigger and I got stronger, I got faster, and then when I got into the league, and I got to Bill, like Bill yelling at me, like my mom, for example, tells a story. Like my kindergarten teacher was like, I've never seen a kid, because I got in trouble a lot when I was a kid. Mr. Jers was the principal, said to my mom, I've never seen a kid that was not afraid to be sent to the principal's office. And my mom always says, well, yeah, like his dad's pretty damn scary. Like my dad has mitts like a bear. My dad's hands are bigger than mine. And if he swatted me, that shit was scary. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't need a belt. I had like these like damn bear mitts coming after me. So, like, that didn't scare me. So, like, when I was going to the...
Yeah, so you took your PB&J and threw her at the
like
bus
this
driver.
tall nerd with the freaking glasses on. Like, should I be scared of this guy? Like, give me a break, you know? And, when you are a football player and you have Bill Belichick yelling at you or telling you that it wasn't good enough, like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're right, that sucked. But I'm not afraid.
But you can be the opposite, though. You can be the guy that's sitting there going, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You've never played. You've never done this. You've never done that. So you're one of two people, right? You're either the one that takes it and tries to be better, or you're the one that's like, why are you even talking to me?
So, yeah, I'm definitely not that. Like, why are you even talking
but there
to me?
are people, though, that sit there and you're just like, why are you talking to me? I was a first-round draft pick.
Yeah, well, you can get your ass out of here.
But
your first
round.
They
have those people, though, right?
No,
You've
you do.
played with them.
You do.
You've seen them.
But they don't last long.
Yeah.
They don't last 12. Honestly, the guys that have that attitude don't last 10 years.
No, not even close.
Guys that play 10 years.
I think not even any. It's getting shorter, too, isn't it?
Yeah. But anyone that can play 10 years in the NFL, and I was talking to Zach Streif about this, anybody who can play 10-plus years in the NFL, number one, they have work ethic, and I'm not just saying that because I played longer than that. I'm just saying you have to have a specific type of work ethic.
Yeah.
That it almost is like a sickness that you feel that if you don't do something every day, that you're like being. I used to have like this, like it was almost like a nightmare. Like I was being beaten, or I was in a race and I was losing. I was losing because I didn't do what I was supposed to do every single day. So like if I didn't work out, it didn't matter if it was like 10 at night. I'm like, I didn't work out today. I got to go get a workout in. Like I felt like it was like a sickness. Like you have to do it. You have to do it. And if you don't, then you're going to lose. And like, it was just, and I even think now, like sometimes if I don't work out, like I'll be in a terrible mood and Paige will be like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I didn't work out today. And we'll get in a fight. I'm like, I need to work out. I need to go do something right now. And she'll be like, all right, go do a Peloton or something. And it's just like, it's like a need to feel like you're pursuing something. And it's, some people don't have that, which is weird. And there's probably people watching me like, what is he talking about? You know?
No, there definitely is. I'm the same way. Like I'll get like a standings report from a manufacturer, like, you know, and I'm like, this morning I got one in 2 of my Kia stores. They're not number 1, number 2. And I'm like, guys, what the hell? I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, you haven't reported the cars yet. You haven't actually sent to them. So we're below in the standings. And a lot of people are like, what's it matter? We know we're ahead of them. But for me, it's like visually I have to see it. Like I know we're ahead of them. I know we are.
Yep.
But why haven't we done it? You know, so like it's that need to be number 1. Like that's like the biggest
And that's
thing.
what separates like
that's what separates NFL players from
that's
being
what separates from being good and
bad
great.
To the average
That's
to the
what
good.
Tom and Bill and the Patriots, you know, like having that type of like work ethic. That's what separates people in a good business versus a great business. Like that's the difference. And you know, people ask me all the time too, like what was it like playing for the Patriots? And number one, my response is, well, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Like if anything's easy, anyone could do it.
You would have people flocking.
People, if football, if playing in the NFL was easy, the salaries would be like $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
Because anyone could do it.
Yeah.
So that's why salaries are what they are, because it's very limited in what you can do.
Up and up and up.
And that's why it's going up, because it's hard.
Yeah.
And you know, granted, there's a big following, people love it, and there's, you know, that's why it continues to progress too. It's the number 1 sport in America, but you are what you are if you surround yourself with great people. If you don't have a good group of people who have like similar types of values and similar goals and aspirations to attain, then you're just gonna be like, you know, just like the Cincinnati Bengals or, you know, teams that just never win because at the top, they're just like, we'll just be like this. And they never, but then you have your teams that always are there, always.
Well, that's the difference, right? Because, you know, with the Patriots, right, they don't win every year, but they've won more than anybody else. And they're always in the equation of being that because they have that work ethic. That's why it's tough in New England right now, you know, if you're a New England Patriots fan, right? I mean, there's kids that don't realize they don't win the Super Bowl every year.
12, yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean?
There's 12-year-olds that are like, we didn't win the division?
There's 12-year-olds that have been to 14 championship parades in Boston. Like, you know, they don't get it. Like, you know, what do you mean you can lose? What do you mean you don't win the division? What do you mean you don't go to the Super Bowl? What do you mean you don't go to the AFC Championship? You know, all that stuff. And it's tough because you've raised now a generation that way. They think that you should be number 1 all the time, every time. They don't understand what it takes to get there.
Yep.
You know, like salary cap, players, you know, opt-outs, you know, all this stuff. There's all these different things that take to get there. And, you know, it's tough as a player because I'd be pissed if I was a Patriots player right now going, you know, you guys are like, if you're Devin McCourty or Matthew Slater, right, that have been there a long time, won a lot of championships, always been competitive, and now you're sitting there going, what do you mean you're telling us we suck?
Yeah, no. But the thing is, like, those guys with that experience are the group that helps the young kids come in and they see, like, look, this is the accountability, this is the way you do it. And, you know, I miss that. I miss pushing myself. I miss pushing myself to, like, that point, like,
that you were the leader?
No, like that point of pushing my physical. There's a difference, like when you're younger and you're a football player, even now, like I'm still young, I'm 37, I can push myself physically to feel like because at a point I'm going to be like, I can't do it physically. Like I'll like my body will shut down, or like my hips will hurt or my knees will hurt, but like I can still do everything I used to do. But like it's mentally like trying to challenge yourself too. Like there's a physical and a mental side to challenging yourself. And I think that's the one hard thing about retirement. You don't challenge yourself mentally or physically like you used to. I remember like games, like the best games that I used to love and cherish were the ones like when I played like 100 snaps against a really good tackle. And at the end of the game, I was dead. He was dead. And like, it all came down to like who was like going to submit. and like you just know, like I'm not going down, and then you win, and you're like,
you think you retired too early?
No, I don't think so.
Do you wish you stayed like another year or two?
No, I don't. I feel like I retired at a perfect time because I like as an athlete and as a player, you feel your physical skills, like you feel them go up, and then you start to feel yourself kind of come down with like injuries and like just the damage that you've done to yourself. Yeah. So like when I retired, I knew it was a perfect time to retire and go out. But there's always a sense of like when you do retire before you're basically looking like you should retire.
Yeah.
Like you have that couple years or year where you're like, dude, I can still do that. I can still freaking set an edge. I can still
you're at right now, right?
I can still set an edge.
That's why I get upset when the Super Bowl ends, right?
But that's the difference in like the guys that can't let it go and they eventually get hurt or get cut.
So where are you at then?
I let it go. I left before.
But you're saying you let it go, but have you really let it go?
No, I've let it go. I can't play. I don't want to play football anymore. I don't want. When I watch football, I'm like,
you still think you get upset after the Super Bowl? Like, like what do I do now?
No, but I think that's because I want to challenge myself in a different way.
So you got to find something then.
Yeah, you got to find something.
Yeah.
But you got to do something.
That's not just like a Peloton or a rower.
Yeah, but that helps me. That's like one of the things that helps me.
It's the Roger Bannister effect. You ever heard of that?
No, what's that?
So up until 1954, nobody had run the 4-minute mile in the world, right?
Is that my new challenge?
Well, no.
At 250? No, I would die.
But Roger Bannister in 1954 ran the 4-minute mile. And since then, it's something like, I think it's like 5,000 people and kids included, have run the 4-minute mile. And the reason why it happened was just because going into it, like somebody's done it, so I can do it at this point.
Yeah.
So it becomes the Roger Bannister effect that, somebody has done it, so you can go out and do it. It's kind of what you're talking about with Jake Paquette, and we're talking about like,
yeah, Jake
push
did
yourself.
It. He did it,
so you could do it.
Yeah, so I went and did it.
So you did
the next day or the same day. Yeah. I saw it. I did it.
But you didn't do it for how long?
A long time.
You tried it for a long time.
Yes.
So it's the effect of knowing that somebody can do it, so you can do it at that point, so you can push yourself that extra little bit to get there.
Yeah.
That's really what.
So I don't know. I think that at this point, I know this is like a therapy session, but like at this point, like have I always, like from the day I retired, in your question, like did I retire too early? I did not retire too early in a sense of like damage, because like when you play football in the way that I played, especially, I took and I gave.
Could have been like one more concussion or one more,
like anything. I mean,
yeah.
I could have played. ACL. I could have played another year and tore the ACL that I had repaired, and then like.
Right now, you'd be like,
or like,
after your kids.
Or guys like have discs or shoulders. Like I can throw, I can run. All the things that I said to myself, like when I hurt myself early in my career, I'm like, I want to just go off on my own terms. I want to be able to do all my own things, which I can. I can run, I can throw, I can lift, I can do everything. I have no limitations. Like if I would have played 1 or 2 more years, like could that have affected me? Nobody would know.
Yeah.
But when you do leave and you feel great, you have that little guy, like the little Ninko, like, you could have played 2 more years. You could have. But this goes back to...
you can't set the edge.
This goes back,
you could.
Not at 37. I could, but anyway. But like this goes back to what my mom said to me. She goes, Rob, at some point, you are like, you've already accomplished everything you're going to accomplish. Like you've done everything you should have done. You've done everything that was on your list.
Yeah.
Then there's just a point of like you don't know when to like let it go.
Yeah.
And just move on. Because even Tom, like this is Tom. Tom's 43, just won his 7th Super Bowl.
Should he retire?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't you? Right.
Because if you don't, guess what?
You've proven everything.
He's going to tear his Achilles, or he's going to tear his shoulder. He's going to have like a trap sack and hit his head off the turf and have a bad concussion.
Yeah. But if he wins the 8th Super Bowl, what does it prove? Nothing more than the 7th.
Nothing.
Right? Nothing more.
Nothing.
He has nothing to prove. Nothing.
He's going to have $25 more million in the bank.
He could win 10 Super Bowls, right? It's not going to matter.
Doesn't
the
matter.
7th one was it because you went to another team.
It doesn't matter.
You proved you could do it without Belichick, that type thing.
So there's nothing that Tom can do more now in the sport to prove.
If he won 3 Super Bowls in a row, it wouldn't matter.
Except for get hurt.
Yeah. It would. If he won 3 in a row, it wouldn't matter.
And the longer he plays, the higher the risk.
I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot.
Don't need any money.
Shouldn't ever need any money.
Like what do you have to prove?
I don't know.
Nothing. You're done.
But that's the That's the sickness.
Yeah. But people don't realize that sickness, though.
So
people ask me, like,
will Tom need therapy when he's done playing football? Probably.
Yeah.
Because what is he going to put his effort and mind and set? Like, what is Tom going to put his effort into that can give him the rewards of what football has given him? Nothing. He can, no business venture, nothing. He's going to be somebody that's going to have some type of like, are we good here?
Yeah, he'll be the one playing pool basketball with his kids.
He'll have the most money. He'll have the most Super Bowls. He'll have everything. But he'll be like feeling like of emptiness because he doesn't have football, which it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad.
To a sense, but that's what gets you to that point.
That's what gets you to that point.
Yeah.
So now he has to find, like, what's the next thing?
Yeah.
So maybe it's his kids. Maybe it's coaching that gives him that.
It's tough to find, though.
It's hard to find.
It's like I told my COO yesterday, I'm like, hey, we're buying another store. And he's like, oh. Because he knows what it takes to, like, do it and go through it and all that. And he's like, well, why are we doing it? I'm like, it's about being the best. You got to keep going. And it is tough. Like, I don't know what I will do after this.
Well, you could just make sure the Achilles.
Yeah, I'm good. Like,
good.
Like the ACLs are good.
Yeah.
I'll start trying, like, when I hit 40, I'll start trying to drink water, avocado ice cream, stuff like that, and keep it going. But you do have to figure out, like, when it's over, what do you do? That's the biggest thing.
I think that's the biggest question. What do we do?
What does Ninko do? I don't think it's coaching. I don't think it's going to be like a D-line coach and listen to.
I'll fight somebody.
I also think you would.
I might. Or I'll put the pads on and say, this is how you do it.
And then get run over.
And then get run over. Oh, man.
But up next, though, we can have is, and this is for Tyson. Tyson, we got a fight going on. Tyson Chartier. We got, you can pick either Rob Font or Calvin Cater versus Rob Ninkovich in a grappling match.
I don't know. Whoever it is will be fine.
They're smaller than you. You're like 100 pounds smaller.
Yeah, we'll wrestle. I used to wrestle.
Just grappling.
Jiu-jitsu, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I got my gi. We'll be fine.
Will you actually put a gi on and do this?
I have a gi.
Will you do it, though?
Yeah.
Like on camera?
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to be like the next show. Is you
wrestle.
grappling even Calvin Cater or Rob Font?
As long as they have a COVID test negative, we'll be fine.
That's what you'll do? What, you'll take one too? I'll
take one too.
I have them.
Yeah,
they're like
good.
rapid ones that you do like and comes back in like 5 minutes.
We'll grapple. Just don't break my elbow or when I tap, I'm tapping.
Yeah, but will you really tap though?
Yes.
You would?
I'm not fighting for money. Like, I'm not going to hurt my elbow.
So we put $100,000 on it, you wouldn't fight?
I need to train. Like, what are you talking about? I can't go fight somebody.
You just rode all that. You beat Jake Paquette. I mean,
I did
Peloton.
A rower. I
see on Instagram all the time, like Peloton. Like
I do Pelotons.
I did like 20 miles.
I did a lot. Ride. Yeah, I did a lot.
Yeah.
That's not fighting, though.
And I'm not a Peloton ride, and I'm like,
I'm not a fighter.
I hit 5 miles.
I'm not a fighter. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
You have to be a fighter.
In a certain sense.
To be in the NFL, you got to be a fighter.
Yeah, but I'm not an MMA fighter.
But you're in shape.
I'm in great shape.
You can do it.
I'm not great. I don't know, like, arm bars. Like, I could probably, I don't know any of that. We'll figure it out.
You can play defense, though. You're a defensive player.
I am a defensive player.
That's what it is. You can play defense. If they can't tap you.
I'll put them in the cradle.
What would you do? A regular, like, UFC round? What's it, like 2 minutes, 30 seconds?
I could do that without being tapped.
Like 3 rounds?
Yeah.
And not get tapped?
Yeah, I think I could.
But they're going to be 100 pounds lighter than you.
Yeah, they're not tapping.
How much you weigh now?
I'm 250.
Yeah,
they're 150?
I think one's a bantamweight, one's a lightweight, so it's probably like 150, 160,
they're not
170.
Tapping me. They're not
tapping you?
Nope.
So that's on?
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm not getting tapped. I'm 100 pounds heavier.
We'd be mad if you scream.
I'm not going to scream
like
either.
Like a scream?
I'm not going to scream.
So we can do this as an adventure.
Let's do it an adventure. Let's do it.
All right.
I've had a couple of beers in me. Let's go.
That's on camera now and everything. That's
We're fine.
That's like a verbal contract.
We're fine.
Your wife just texts you, don't do that.
No, I got to pick up the kids in 20 minutes.
So that seems like a good wrap for this one.
That's it.
For 21?
Yep.
For 21, I think that's a good wrap. You going to bring the mixed match again? Or
maybe.
Should we do the cocktails?
No, let's do the cocktails.
Yeah. I think the cocktails would be good. They're actually pretty heavy though.
All right. Well, I'll get an Uber.
All right, so we'll see you guys next week. Watch us on iTunes, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, pretty much anywhere on the internet. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you later. Watch me get tapped out.